You're broke. And the worst part? It's not an accident. You wake up every morning, check your bank account, and feel that knot in your stomach. You work harder than the people around you who somehow have more. You've read the books, you've watched the videos, you've told yourself this year will be different. But here you are, still broke, still stuck, still watching other people live the life you want while you're drowning in bills you can barely pay. And you want to know why? You want to know why you're the one who got left behind while everyone else figured it out? I'm going to tell you something that's going to make you angry. I'm going to tell you something that Napoleon Hill discovered 75 years ago, something so threatening to the people who profit from your poverty that they buried this book for 3/4 of a century. The reason you're still poor isn't because you're unlucky. It's not because you didn't have opportunities. It's not because the economy's bad or because your parents didn't give you a trust fund. You're still poor because you've been programmed to stay poor, and you've been so good at following that programming that you don't even realize you're doing it. Welcome to Book in 20. In the next 30 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how this programming works. I'm going to show you the 7 chains keeping you enslaved financially, and I'm going to give you the exact blueprint Napoleon Hill discovered to break free. But here's the deal. Most people watching this won't finish. Most people will get uncomfortable in the next 5 minutes and close this video because what I'm about to say challenges everything they believe about why they're broke. So if you're actually ready to face the truth, not the comfortable lie, but the actual truth, then like this video right now. Subscribe to this channel and comment below what country you're watching from and what your biggest financial frustration is. Because we're building a community of people who refuse to stay broke, and your commitment starts right now. Let's go. Section 1. The brutal truth about your poverty. Let me paint you a picture, and I want you to be honest with yourself as I describe this. You're working 40, 50, maybe 60 hours a week. You're doing everything society told you to do. You went to school, you got the degree, or maybe you didn't, but you're working just as hard as people who did. You show up on time, you do your job, you're responsible. And at the end of every month, after you pay rent, after you pay utilities, after you buy groceries, after you handle the car payment and the insurance and all the little expenses that add up, what's left? Maybe a couple $100s if you're lucky. Maybe nothing. Maybe you're actually going backwards, adding to credit card debt just to survive. You tell yourself it's temporary. You tell yourself once you get that promotion, once you switch jobs, once you finally catch a break, things will change. But they never do they? Here's the part that's going to make you angry. While you're doing all of this, while you're grinding and struggling and barely surviving, there are people, maybe people you know, who are making more money than you while working less. People who seem to have figured out something you haven't. People who aren't smarter than you, aren't more talented than you, but somehow have financial freedom while you're stuck in financial prison. And the question that keeps you up at night is, why them and not me? Napoleon Hill spent 20 years studying this exact question. He interviewed over 500 of the wealthiest people in history. Andrew Carnegie, Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, people who built empires from nothing. And what he discovered, what he put in his most controversial book, Outwitting the Devil, was that poverty isn't random. Poverty is systematic, poverty is psychological, and poverty is deliberate. Not deliberate in the sense that someone is personally trying to keep you poor, although there are certainly systems that profit from your poverty. But deliberate in the sense that you have been carefully programmed since childhood to think, act, and make decisions that keep you exactly where you are. And the person executing that programming most effectively? It's you. You are keeping yourself poor, not consciously, not intentionally, but through patterns that were installed in you before you were even old enough to question them. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. That's not fair. I work hard. I'm doing everything right. How is this my fault? And that's exactly the trap. Because as long as you're focused on whether it's fair, as long as you're focused on blame, you're not focused on the one thing you can actually control, your response. Hill's book, Outwitting the Devil, breaks this down in brutal detail.
the actual conversations he documented, the interrogation he conducted with the forces of negativity reveal exactly how poverty is maintained across generations. I've linked the book in the description below if you want to go deeper than this video allows. And I want to be transparent. I earn a small commission when you purchase through that link, which supports this channel's mission to help more people break free. But the price you pay is exactly the same whether you use my link or not. Before we go deeper, I need you to do something. Pause this video for 10 seconds. Think about your current financial situation. Think about the last time you felt genuinely free financially. If that's never happened, acknowledge that, then come back and let's figure out why.
Section 2. The 7 Chains of Financial Slavery. Hill discovered that poverty is maintained through 7 specific psychological mechanisms. He called these the devil's 7 princes of deception. These are the invisible chains that keep you financially enslaved without you even realizing you're wearing them. I'm going to walk you through all 7, and I want you to identify which ones are operating in your life right now, because awareness is the first step to breaking free. Chain 1. Fear of economic insecurity. This is the big one. This is the chain that keeps more people poor than any other single factor. You stay in the job you hate because you're afraid of not having income. You don't start the business you've been thinking about for years because what if it fails and you lose your savings? You don't negotiate for the raise you deserve because what if they say no, or worse, what if they fire you? Fear of economic insecurity makes you choose guaranteed poverty over potential wealth. Think about that. You are actively choosing to stay broke because the possibility of being more broke is scarier than the guarantee of staying exactly where you are. And here's the part that should make you furious. The system is designed to cultivate this fear. Your school taught you to get a safe job. Your parents taught you not to take risks. Society taught you that stability is more important than freedom. But let me ask you something. How stable are you actually? If you lost your job tomorrow, how long would you last? 2 months? 3 months? That's not stability. That's barely surviving with a paycheck. That's one emergency away from disaster. Real stability comes from having multiple income streams. Real stability comes from owning assets. Real stability comes from having skills the market actually values. But fear keeps you from building any of that. Chain 2. Procrastination. You know what you need to do. You've always known. You need to ask for that raise. You need to start that side business. You need to learn that high-income skill. You need to invest in yourself. You need to have that difficult conversation with your boss about your career trajectory. But you don't do it. You tell yourself you'll do it next week, next month, when you have more time, when you have more energy, when circumstances are better. Procrastination is the devil's most effective weapon because it makes you surrender your power while feeling like you're being reasonable. I'll start Monday. I'll apply for that position after the holidays. I'll begin investing once I have a little more saved up. And Monday never comes. The holidays end, but you find another excuse. You never have a little more saved up because you're not taking the actions that would actually generate more income. Here's the brutal truth. Every day you procrastinate is a day someone else is taking the opportunity you're too scared to take. Every week you delay is a week of compound growth you'll never get back. Every month you wait is another month you're older, with more responsibilities, with less time to build. Time is the one asset you cannot get back, and procrastination is how you waste it. Chain 3. Doubt. This might be the most insidious chain of all because it works by making you question yourself from the inside. You doubt whether you're smart enough to start a business. You doubt whether you have what it takes to earn significantly more.
You doubt whether people would actually pay you for your skills or ideas. You doubt whether you could handle the responsibility of wealth even if you had it. Doubt is how the devil makes you sabotage yourself before you even start. And here's what's sick about it. Doubt masquerades as wisdom. Doubt pretends to be realism. Doubt tells you it's just being practical when it warns you not to try. But doubt isn't wisdom. Doubt is cowardice dressed up in intellectual clothing. The people who broke free from poverty, they doubted too, but they did it anyway. They started the business while doubting whether it would work. They asked for the opportunity while doubting whether they deserved it. They took the risk while doubting whether they could handle the outcome. The difference between you and them isn't that they didn't have doubt. The difference is that they didn't let doubt make the decision. Chain 4. Indecision. How many opportunities have you let slip by because you couldn't decide? The investment opportunity you analyzed for 6 months while the price went up? The job posting you debated applying for until it closed? The business idea you researched endlessly but never launched? The person you should have networked with but never reached out to? Indecision is a decision. It's a decision to let circumstances decide for you instead of taking control. And the expensive part about indecision, time keeps moving. The market keeps shifting. Other people keep taking action. And while you're still deciding, they're already succeeding. Hill discovered something fascinating. Wealthy people make decisions quickly and change them slowly. Poor people make decisions slowly and change them quickly. Wealthy people commit to a direction and stay committed even when things get difficult. Poor people analyze forever, finally commit, then give up at the first obstacle. Your indecision isn't protecting you, it's costing you everything. Chain 5. Lack of burning purpose. Why do you want money? No, seriously, why? Is it just to pay bills? Is it just to not be stressed? Is it just to have enough? Because if your purpose for wanting wealth is just to avoid pain, you will never generate enough energy to actually create wealth. Avoiding pain is a weak motivator. It gets you to survival, but it never gets you to success. The people who break free from poverty have a purpose that's bigger than themselves. They want to provide for their family. They want to prove something to themselves. They want to create something that matters. They want freedom. They want impact. They want legacy. When your purpose is that clear and that powerful, poverty becomes unacceptable. When your purpose is that strong, you'll work through exhaustion. You'll learn skills you don't currently have. You'll take risks that scare you. You'll persist through failure after failure after failure because giving up means abandoning the purpose. But if you don't have that purpose, if you're just vaguely hoping things get better, you'll give up the first time it gets hard. You'll quit the first time someone tells you it won't work. You'll settle for good enough because you never defined what great actually looks like for you. Which of these 5 chains do you recognize in yourself? Comment below. Don't skip this, because naming it is the first step to breaking it. And read the other comments too. You'll see you're not alone. Thousands of people are trapped by the same chains. That's not an excuse. That's evidence that this is real and that breaking free is possible.
Chain 6. Negative associations. Show me your 5 closest friends, and I'll show you your financial future. This isn't metaphorical. This isn't inspiration poster philosophy. This is documented psychology. You become the average of the people you spend the most time with. Your income will trend toward their average income. Your mindset will trend toward their collective mindset. Your ambitions will trend toward their expectations. If you're surrounded by people who think being broke is normal, you will think being broke is normal. If you're surrounded by people who complain about their jobs but never do anything about it, you will complain about your job but never do anything about it. If you're surrounded by people who think wealthy people are evil or lucky or just had advantages, you will never become wealthy because you've internalized the belief that wealth requires something immoral or impossible. Here's the part people don't want to hear. You might need to distance yourself from the people who are keeping you poor. Not because they're bad people, not because you're better than them,
But because you're trying to go somewhere they're not trying to go, and their gravity is holding you back. The conversations you have every day shape your reality. If those conversations are about how expensive everything is, how unfair the system is, how impossible it is to get ahead, those conversations are programming you for poverty. You need to get around people who are where you want to be, people who've done what you want to do, people who believe what you're trying to accomplish is possible. And if you can't find those people in your physical environment, find them online, find them in communities, find them in masterminds, find them in courses, but find them. Because you cannot break free from poverty while surrounded by people committed to staying poor. Chain 7. Ignorance. Not the ignorance of not knowing something, the ignorance of refusing to learn. You know you need to understand money, but you've never read a book on personal finance. You know you need marketable skills, but you've never taken a course. You know you need to understand investing, but you've never studied it. You know you need to understand how businesses work, but you've watched Netflix instead. This is willful ignorance, and it's keeping you broke. The information that would change your financial situation is available. It's free or cheap. It's accessible. You could learn any high-income skill through YouTube, Coursera, Udemy, books, or mentorship. You could understand money through free resources. You could study the strategies wealthy people use without spending a dollar. But you don't. Because learning requires effort. Learning requires admitting you don't know. Learning requires changing your identity from "this is who I am" to "this is who I'm becoming." And the devil loves ignorant people because ignorant people never challenge their own limitations. Hill's Outwitting the Devil goes even deeper into each of these chains and provides the exact psychological frameworks for breaking them. If you're serious about this, and I mean genuinely serious, not just inspired for 20 minutes, get the book. Read the actual source material. It's linked in the description below. I earn a small commission when you use that link, which keeps this channel going. But more importantly, reading it will give you the complete operating system for breaking free, not just the highlights I'm sharing here. Pause right now. Identify which of these 7 chains is the strongest in your life, the one that's holding you back the most. Comment it below. Say, "My biggest chain is blank," because naming it out loud is the beginning of breaking it. And read the other comments too. You'll see you're not alone. Thousands of people are trapped by the same chains. That's not an excuse. That's evidence that this is real and that breaking free is possible.
Now here's where this gets really uncomfortable. And this is where most people close the video because they're not ready to hear it. You are not a victim of poverty, you are a participant in poverty. I don't say that to be cruel. I say it because until you accept responsibility for your role in your current situation, you cannot change your situation. As long as you're blaming the economy, your parents, your boss, the government, the system, you're giving away your power. You're saying, someone else has to change for my life to get better. And that's the exact mindset that keeps you broke. Hill discovered that every single person who escaped poverty had one thing in common. They stopped blaming external circumstances and started taking radical responsibility for their outcomes. Not because external circumstances don't matter, not because the system isn't rigged in certain ways, not because luck doesn't play a role, but because blaming circumstances doesn't pay your rent. Blaming circumstances doesn't increase your income. Blaming circumstances doesn't build wealth. Blaming circumstances feels righteous, but it leaves you exactly where you are. Let me give you some examples of how you're participating in your own poverty. You complain about your low salary, but haven't asked for a raise in 3 years. You say you want to start a business, but you've spent the last 6 months researching and 0 months actually building. You blame your parents for not teaching you about money, but you have free access to every money book ever written, and you haven't read one. You say you're stuck in your city with no opportunities, but you haven't seriously explored remote work or relocation. You spend $200 a month on entertainment subscriptions and delivery food, but say you can't afford to invest in learning a high-income skill. You say the system is unfair, but you haven't even optimized your use of the current system. You're leaving employer matching on the table. You haven't negotiated your bills. You haven't filed your taxes strategically.
Do you see the pattern? In every single case, you have agency you're not using. You have power you're not claiming. You have options you're not taking. And the reason you're not taking them isn't because they don't exist. It's because taking them requires changing how you see yourself. It requires admitting that you've been wrong about some things. It requires accepting that you're going to fail a few times before you succeed. It requires looking in the mirror and saying, I am the variable I can control, so I'm going to control it. Now, I know some of you are getting defensive right now. You're thinking, he doesn't understand my situation. He doesn't know how hard I work. He doesn't know the obstacles I face. You're right. I don't know your specific situation. But here's what I do know. Hill interviewed hundreds of people who started with less than you have. People who grew up in poverty worse than yours. People who faced discrimination you didn't face. People who had disabilities, traumas, setbacks that were objectively worse than yours, and they still broke free. Not because they were superhuman, not because they were lucky, but because they decided that their circumstances were not their destiny. They decided that poverty was something that happened to them, but not something that defined them. You can make the same decision, but you have to actually make it. Not hope for it, not wish for it, not fantasize about it, decide it, commit to it, take action on it every single day. And here's the beautiful part about accepting responsibility. Once you accept that you're the one keeping yourself poor, you also accept that you're the one who can make yourself wealthy. If you're the problem, you're also the solution. If fear is stopping you, you can learn to act despite fear. If procrastination is stopping you, you can build systems that force action. If doubt is stopping you, you can gather evidence that contradicts the doubt. If indecision is stopping you, you can practice making decisions faster. If lack of purpose is stopping you, you can define your purpose. If negative associations are stopping you, you can change who you spend time with. If ignorance is stopping you, you can learn. None of these chains are locks. They're all just habits, and habits can be changed. This is exactly why I created a free 30-day transformation workbook that walks you through breaking each of these chains systematically. It's not theory. It's daily practices, it's self-assessment, it's action steps, it's the tactical implementation of everything Hill discovered. The link is in the description. Download it, use it, actually do the work. Because the people who transform aren't the ones who watch this video and feel inspired. They're the ones who download the workbook and complete it. Comment below, I'm taking responsibility if you're actually ready to do this, because that public declaration is the first step. That commitment you make to yourself and this community is what creates accountability, and accountability is what creates follow-through.
Section 4, the antidote to financial poverty. Okay, so now you understand the chains. You understand how you've been keeping yourself poor. The question is, how do you break free? Hill spent decades figuring this out, and what he discovered is that financial freedom isn't mysterious. It's not luck. It's not random. It's a formula, a specific set of principles that, when applied consistently, compound into wealth. I'm going to give you the exact framework, but I need you to understand something first. This will not work if you only implement it halfway. This will not work if you dabble. This will not work if you try it for 3 weeks and give up. This works when you commit to it completely, when you treat it like your life depends on it. Because, in a very real way, it does. Antidote 1. Clarity about what you actually want. Most people are poor because they've never defined what not poor actually means to them. They just want more money. But how much more? $10,000 more per year? $100,000 more? What would your life actually look like if you had financial freedom? Where would you live? What would you do every day? What would you no longer have to worry about? You cannot create something you haven't defined. So here's your first assignment. Define your target. Not, I want to be comfortable. Define the number.
I want to earn $150,000 per year within 3 years, or I want to have $50,000 in savings within 2 years, or I want to generate $5,000 per month in passive income within 5 years. Make it specific, make it measurable, make it time-bound, because vague goals produce vague results. Precise goals force you to figure out the precise path. Antidote 2. Skill acquisition over credential accumulation. Here's something they didn't teach you in school. The market doesn't care about your degree. The market cares about what you can do. If you can solve a problem people will pay to have solved, you will never be poor. If you can create value that people actually want, you will have leverage. If you can do something that most people cannot do or will not do, you can charge accordingly. Stop asking, what do I need to be qualified for? Start asking, what skill would make me valuable enough that people have to pay me well? The skills that pay $150,000 per year are learnable. Sales and persuasion, copywriting and marketing, software development, data analysis, project management for complex initiatives, video editing and content creation, financial planning and analysis, strategic consulting. Pick one, master it, then monetize it. Not 3 years from now, not after you get another degree, now. Start learning today. Practice tomorrow. Get your first client or project within 90 days. Even if you do it for cheap or free initially, get proof of concept. Then scale. Antidote 3. Income diversification. If 100% of your income comes from one source, you're not financially secure. You're financially vulnerable. You need at least 3 income streams. Income stream 1, your primary job or business. This pays your bills. Income stream 2, your side income or secondary skill. This builds your savings and investments. Income stream 3, your investment income or passive income. This creates your freedom. When you only have one income stream, you're one layoff, one illness, one business downturn away from financial crisis. When you have 3, you have redundancy, you have options, you have breathing room. And building multiple income streams isn't as hard as you think. Your side income doesn't have to make $50,000 in year 1, it just has to make something. $500 a month becomes $1,000 a month becomes $2,000 a month. Compounding works with income just like it works with investments. Antidote 4. Aggressive saving and investing. Here's the formula that actually works. Earn more, spend the same, invest the difference. Not earn more and upgrade your lifestyle proportionally. That's how you stay on the hedonic treadmill forever. That's how people making $200,000 are just as broke as people making $50,000. When your income increases by $1,000 per month, your spending should not increase by $1,000 per month. Your spending should increase by $200 to $300, and the remaining $700 to $800 should go directly into investments. Every dollar you invest is a soldier fighting for your financial freedom. Every dollar you spend on lifestyle inflation is a soldier you're sending home. And I'm not saying never enjoy your money. I'm saying delay enjoyment long enough to secure your future first. Get to the point where your investments generate enough passive income to cover your lifestyle. Then spend freely, but not before. Antidote 5. Eliminate financial illiteracy. If you don't understand how money works, other people will take your money. You need to understand how tax brackets work and how to optimize them, how compound interest works and how to use it, how debt works and how to eliminate it or leverage it strategically, how investing works, stocks, real estate, businesses, how insurance works and what you actually need, how retirement accounts work, 401k, IRA, HSA, and how negotiation works, salary, bills, contracts. All of this information is free. All of it is accessible. You can learn all of this in 90 days if you commit 30 minutes a day to it. The difference between people who build wealth and people who stay poor is not that wealthy people are smarter, it's that wealthy people learned how money works and poor people didn't bother. Antidote 6. Speed of implementation. The gap between knowing and doing is where dreams die. You know you should negotiate your salary, do it this week. You know you should start learning that high-income skill, Start today. You know you should begin building that side business. Launch the basic version this month. Even if you do it for cheap or free, moving fast and getting results in real time beats perfect planning every single time. Stop trying to figure out the perfect path. Start walking an imperfect path and adjust as you go. The adjustments you make from real-world experience are exponentially more valuable than the hypothetical planning you do from your couch. Antidote 7. Identity shift. This is the most important one, and this is the one most people skip. You will never consistently act in ways that contradict your identity. If you identify as someone who's just not good with money, you will sabotage every attempt to build wealth. If you identify as someone who's not the type to run a business, you'll quit the first time it gets hard. If you identify as someone who's not sales-oriented, you'll never learn to sell yourself. Your identity is the filter through which you interpret every opportunity and every obstacle. So, you have to change the identity. You have to start seeing yourself as someone who is becoming financially free, someone who is learning and growing, someone who is taking control. Not someday, now. Today, you start identifying as that person. And when you identify as that person, the actions that person would take become obvious. And when you take those actions consistently, the results inevitably follow. Write this down. I am someone who is breaking free from financial poverty. Read it every morning. Let it become your identity. Then act accordingly. And if you want the complete implementation system for all of this, the workbook in the description walks you through it day by day. It's free, it's comprehensive, it works if you work it.
Section 5, your 30-day financial freedom challenge. All right, so you've made it this far. That already puts you ahead of 80% of people who started this video. But watching is not the same as doing. Knowing is not the same as applying. Being inspired is not the same as being transformed. So here's what I'm challenging you to do over the next 30 days. Week 1, financial clarity. Day 1 through 3, calculate your exact current financial position. How much do you earn? How much do you spend? How much do you owe? How much do you have saved? Write it all down, no hiding from reality. Day 4 through 5, define your 12-month financial goal. Be specific. I will increase my annual income by $25,000 within 1 year by mastering this specific skill and landing this specific type of opportunity. Day 6 through 7, identify the top 3 chains holding you back from your financial goals. Name them. Write them down. Then write down one specific action you could take to begin breaking each chain. Week 2, skill development. Days 8 through 14, choose one high-income skill and commit to learning it for 30 minutes every single day. Not when you have time, not if you feel like it, every day. Non-negotiable. YouTube, Coursera, Udemy, books, pick your resource and start. Week 3, income generation. Days 15 through 21. Create your first side income offer, even if it's imperfect, even if you're scared. Offer a service based on a skill you have. Freelance, consult, create. Offer it to 5 people. Get rejected by most of them, get accepted by at least 1. Make your first dollar outside your primary job. Week 4, financial systems. Days 22 through 28. Set up your financial infrastructure. Open a high-yield savings account. Set up automatic transfers so saving happens without willpower. Research investment options. Actually put money into your first investment, even if it's $50. The amount doesn't matter. The habit does. Day 29 through 30. Write down everything you learned. What worked? What was harder than you expected? What surprised you? What are you committing to continuing? What needs to change? And here's the commitment I want from you. On day 31, come back to this video. Comment with your results. Comment with what changed. Comment with what you accomplished. Because your story will inspire the next person who's watching this and wondering if change is possible. The people who break free from poverty aren't the ones who watch motivational videos, they're the ones who implement what they learn and refuse to quit until they succeed. So here's what you do right now. 1. Like this video if you're committing to the 30-day challenge. 2.
Subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications because I'm creating more content like this every single week. 3. Comment below your location, your biggest financial challenge, and which day of the challenge you're starting. 4. Download the free workbook from the description. It has detailed daily practices for all 30 days. 5. Get Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil from the link in the description. I earn a small commission which supports this channel, but more importantly, reading the actual source material will give you depth this video can't provide. 6. Share this video with one person you know who's stuck financially. Don't keep this to yourself. The people who hoard knowledge stay broke. The people who share knowledge build community, and community creates transformation. Let me leave you with this. Your poverty is not an accident. It's not random. It's not permanent. It's the result of specific patterns of thinking and behaving that you were taught and that you've been unconsciously repeating. But those patterns can be broken. Those chains can be shattered. That programming can be overwritten. You are not destined to stay poor. You're just choosing to stay poor every time you choose comfort over growth, every time you choose blame over responsibility, every time you choose fantasy over action. And the moment you stop choosing poverty is the moment everything changes. Napoleon Hill discovered this 75 years ago. He documented it. He proved it. And they tried to bury it because people who understand how poverty works can no longer be kept poor. You understand now. The question is what you're going to do about it. Are you going to close this video, feel inspired for 20 minutes, and go back to your life exactly as it was? Or are you going to decide right now, today, that 30 days from now, you're going to be different? That 1 year from now, your life is going to be different? That 5 years from now, you're going to look back at this moment as the turning point? The choice is yours. The power is yours. The responsibility is yours. And so are the results.